Starting in episode 29, the show starts working around the rules for another Riders. They are no longer tied to the year said Rider show came out, but instead to 2019. Why it's done that way was probably to disconnect the connection between Riders so they can keep their memories and now fight alongside our protagonists. And it makes better use of the guest star cameos to have them actually team up with our protagonists. And so, episodes 29 and 30 are the Blade tribute. And spoiler alert right now, if you haven't seen KamenRider Blade and want to, I will make sure to leave a time card on where to skip this portion. And so, White Waz gets the Another Blade ride watch and uses it on Amane, the little girl whose mom owned a restaurant, and it's the exact same actress too, all grown up, and still working in show business. That's honestly impressive to me. Like, you don't ever expect the only child actor on that show, or any shows, to still be working. But, hey, here she is. And I'm glad I almost didn't forget this fact, too. We actually see her actress... Well, her actress has actually been in other Rider shows, too. She did 2 episodes of Forze as a Monster of the Week. And honest to God, I did not realize that because she dyed her hair or something. And apparently I saw something about her being in an episode of W? I don't know which episode either. But back on topic. From the very start of the show, there's been unexplained animosity between Gates and Waz. The reason why is because in 2068, Gates, Tsukuyomi, and Waz were all originally on the same side to take down Omazeo. And then one day, Waz up and betrayed them, resulting in most of their comrades getting killed. Aside from Tsukasa, KamenRider DN returns for this show and starts in this episode. Kaito first appears serving them breakfast, like you do, and steals all their ride watches. They manage to get them back except for the ZO2 and Gates Revive watches. Kaito was apparently ordered by White Waz to obtain those watches, and when White Waz holds them, a light is projected from the watches to him, forging a new ride watch. Ride watches. Care, bear, stare. Amane is another Blade, and she's bent on finding Hajime, KamenRider Chalice. Hajime appears to defend her, and the episode ends with Kenzaki, KamenRider Blade, transforming and fighting him. For anyone who remembers, in Blade's finale, the more Kenzaki used his final form, the more he was on the verge of becoming an undead. And, in order to save the world and not seal Hajime, Kenzaki martyred himself by becoming a Joker. So to keep the world from not ending, Kenzaki and Hajime must never interact with each other ever again. Or would've, if not for White Waz. White Waz continues his process, making another Blade cause the end of the world by having her absorb Blade and Chalice's Joker powers, which in turn make Kenzaki and Hajime human. Before Team Zeo stands a chance to stop another Blade, Sogo is given the Zeo Trinity ride watch from White Waz after he reasons with him about his defeated motivation. So now, let's talk about Zeo Trinity. Power scale wise, I find it rather unnecessary because Sogo still has Zeo2, and that's much stronger and can look into the future. This, 3 riders become 1, that's it. Look wise, I like that it's black and gold. That's about it. And now it's just weirder. On par as weird as the ride armors. Because freaking faces on the pauldrons. Like, Zeo's face on the chest that's not as weird as freaking Gates and Waz's faces just on the sides, looking like shoulder pads. People say how much they don't like the mechs from Go Onger because when they make Engino, it's just 3 animal faces just straight going down. What the hell do you think of this? One face here, one face there, one face there, and when they talk, the shoulders move. Like, that freaks me out a bit more than just, hey, that mech has anime eyes. But yeah, this suit, details aside, I think that's about all I can say about it. Like, I like that it's black and gold. And the helmet's not too bad because obviously it's a combination of all 3 of them. So, meh. Like, that's about it. Like, out of all the forms Zio gets, this one's probably about low tier. And so, another blade is defeated, and with that, Omade is ceased from happening. Due to said events, White Waz's timeline now no longer exists. Oh my god, I cannot talk today. Due to said events, White Waz's timeline now no longer exists, and so does he. How his driver and watches haven't vanished too.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
And that'll be the last time I reference Doctor Who for this review. But yeah, I actually quite like this ending for Blade. Like, thanks to the confines of this show, creating an alternative for Kenzaki and Hajime's Joker powers, his self-sacrifice doesn't go in vain, because obviously, if they got their ride watches back, then the battle fight's back on. This, in a way, actually ends the game where both sides win. And if one obviously got their powers back, then either one would be a Joker, game's back on. But I like how this gives a happy ending for Kenzaki, who spent the last who knows how many years since Blade being a Joker, literally doing what he did to keep everything and everyone safe. But now, he can see those people again. He can be with his friends again and everything. Just, it's happy. It's positive. I like it. I like how in a rather bittersweet ending, it comes out years later as a full positive. Because, well, because I don't know how to describe it. It's just, like, your sacrifice doesn't go in vain, and I guess it's being rewarded for it, so, I don't know, I guess something like that. But I don't know, I'm just trying to put words together and all. Speaking of which, episodes 31 and 32, they are the Agito tribute. Schwartz's plan is to create another Agito that can mass produce another Agitos. Also, he can draw out Shoichi to steal his powers. First off, I must say, this another Agito is KamenRider Another Agito suit. Boo. Lose 2 points for laziness. Boo. Anyway, but I actually like and recommend these 2 episodes. Tsukuyomi shows to have time jacker powers and reveals to be an amnesiac. Shoichi talks and relates to her through his time being an amnesiac himself. The action's nice. The references are great. It's definitely worth a watch. And so, next is the Hibiki tribute. And if you've seen Hibiki, most Toku fans would know, at least about the controversy around that show, that I'm really pronouncing words weirdly today. Controversy. Anyway, if you've seen Hibiki, then you know about the controversy around that show in its second half. which explains why Hibbiki's actor is not in these episodes. But instead, we get Kiria, Hibbiki's pupil. Like, the issue in this story is that to beat another Hibbiki, they'll need the power of Hibbiki, which Kiria doesn't have because he couldn't inherit the title of Hibbiki. And, shoot, KamenRider Todoroki is actually in this two-parter too, and by the end, Kiria is granted the Hibbiki Ride Watch, thus he inherits the title, and he and Zio Trinity beat the monster. Episodes 35 and 36 are the Kiva tribute, per se, because it gets random. KamenRider Ginga. Who is he? Who the hell knows? But Ginga's suit, though, I like it. I like that it's purple. The helmet, on the other hand, up top is Disneyland Goofy hat-ish going on. And frankly, all that comes out of it is Waz Ginga, to which I do like that suit. I love the helmet, I love the cloak, it can mode change. It looks awesome. And so, moving on, episodes 37 and 38 are the Kabuto tribute, and they focus on Kagami, Kamen Rider Attack. The Hellbros return for the 2 episodes, as Punch Hopper is being mimicked by a worm, and Kick Hopper is another Kabuto. Long story short, the Kabuto Zector goes to Kagami so he can beat Kabuto as Kabuto, and in the end, the Kabuto Zector becomes the Ride Watch. Yeah, I summed it all up pretty quickly, just so I can get to Tsukiyomi's part in this story. But I will say this, starting from episode 29, the episodes are much better as they respect what they're honoring, except for Kiva because fuck that show. Just straight up fuck that show. Like, literally, the monsters from Kiva are in this 2-parter, and they side with another Kiva. And it turns out, like, they were just doing it all willingly, except for the werewolf at the very end who just said, nah. So they straight up had a choice of not helping someone who wasn't actually Kiva. Just fuck that show. Fuck Kiva. In case anyone wonders why I say that, I'm not a big fan of Kiva. Just not. But, back to Kabuto. As for Tsukiyomi's end in these episodes, Tsukasa takes her to the future in 2058. When Tsukiyomi was a child, we learned that Schwartz is her brother, and that he has plans for her. I don't mind the reveal. I don't like that they're siblings, because, I'm sorry, Schwartz is old enough to be her father, let alone her brother. Like, hell, I'm 10 years older than my little sister, but between the two, you can tell the distinction that we're brother and sister. With them, Schwartz is touching on his 40s, and between the actors, age-wise, it doesn't add up. Honestly, it would have made more sense if Schwartz was her father. And so, episodes 39 and 40, the Den-O tribute. I'll say this, I remember why I don't like Den-O, but I don't hate this tribute. And for this, the focus writer is Zeranos, Den-O's secondary writer, who, joke time, Kiria's actor 2 years later played, I forgot, what's his name? Yuto, Kamen Rider Zeranos on Den-O. And in the episode, they joke that it's the same actor who played both roles. But where was I? Yeah, now that I explained that, I don't hate this tribute, mainly because the focus story is about two siblings and what really happened when the sister died. And it was sweet. But here, this is where we ultimately get our final form, Grand Zeo. And Grand Zeo. It's been so long since I talked about this form, and I still don't like this form. Anytime I try to like it, it's like, nope, I can't do it. I can't do it. Just, gold is not a bad idea for a color. Like, all the full body images of Kamen Riders all over Zeo's body? No. Like, it just, no. It doesn't look good. It makes it, it's just ugly. I think I would feel differently if it was like each writer's logo, because there, I probably wouldn't hate it so much, but because you see Zeo on top, Kiva's like body image here, Bill's body image somewhere, it's like so much. He looks like a walking trophy, man, and not in a good way. But shoot, I even remember back in the day when Grand Zeo first came on, we all thought it was too overpowered when the no, I can't even make a reference. Anywho, I remember back in the day when Grand Zeo first came on, and we all thought after we all thought that it was cool, we all soon realized this is way too overpowered. Like, because Grand Zeo can summon any and all of the previous main like riders throughout the Heisei era, from Kuga up to Build. Whatever form, like, he can summon them. Back then, we all thought it was cool for a moment, but then realized it's way too much. Like, okay, summoning them is one thing. The fact that he can also summon their weapons to whatever weapon that any main rider had, that's where it's too much. Like, I feel like you feel like in some cases it should be like one or the other and not simultaneously. Episode 40 ends with Sogo meeting his future self again, but this time it's on an equal footing.